Sound like an entrepreneur to me. Which brings me to my next question. So how did you get into, because I was really intrigued, you do like financial literacy for other dancers?
No.
Or something to that effect?
Something to that extent. I created, are you talking about the exotic income tracker or the stripper math video?
The tracker.
Okay.
The income tracker.
Yeah, okay. So, yes, I created the income tracker just for us to have a way to track our cash and our expenses, and to just kind of start becoming aware of the patterns, your high seasons, your low seasons over time. Like what days do you make the money, good money, or what weeks or periods during the month are normally the best for you, being able to track those patterns and that income over time. And also I used to be a tax preparer 2 years ago. And that was my first time like filing my own taxes, and I kind of just did like estimates of what I think I paid or what I think I made. So that had inspired me to create something for us where we can actually have that stability and that discipline financially. And
so you just, what you learned, you made that into a way where you can like give it to somebody else. Like you use this is how I did it.
Yeah. And I made the diagrams. I made it to where there's a daily tracker page, a weekly tracker page, and then a monthly. So I created a diagram where we track what time we clock in, of course the date, how much we paid for tipping, the total amount of tips we make, which is before we pay house mom, sweeper, and DJ, and then our net profit, which is the amount that we walk out with. And then at the end of the entire week, you move over to the weekly page and you add all of those expenses or income together. That repeats 4 times, and then after the 4th time, that's where the monthly page, and then you add the weekly totals to get your monthly average. And then all the way at the back of the book, they have one yearly page, so you only need one tracker for the entire year. And I designed it that way so that as the months go by, if you're putting your monthly totals in on the yearly page, you can start to notice a pattern as the year passes. And yeah, ever since I've been using my own product, I always have money.
It's important. I'm sure so whenever you're, like you said, you're a single mother, right? So obviously all of the responsible things are thrust upon you at that point. So you kind of got to get into it quicker, because I'm sure there's dancers that don't have kids that they're like, I interviewed a dude and he used to dance, and I was like, what was the most money you ever made? And he was looking like,
I don't know.
I have no idea.
And that was the problem. Yeah.
Majority of the time, it's like, I don't even know. Because I got a lot of stripper cards, and they'll pull up like, how much you say it was? And they're just pulling ones out like, nigga, you count it, bro.
Yeah.
I got one person tipped me like, well, they didn't. I say they tipped me because they told me to keep it. But they gave me like 200 extra just because they didn't want to count the ones. And I'm like, bro, you gave me 200. She like, man, keep that. Like, I'm going to make some more. But it's like, yes, you're going to make some more, but you gotta.
That is not sustainable.
I'll share what did it for me. My first year tattooing in a shop, he files taxes. He hands me a 1099. What you give me a 1099 for, sir? I'm a tattoo artist. I'm a fucking pirate. What is this? What do you want me to do with this? But it said, I think I have been working at the shop from like, it's like the end of the year, like maybe August, September to December. And it was like, you made $22,000. I'm checking my bank account like, it says I made 22. I got $247. So where's the, you know what I'm saying? But it made me start thinking about it like that, like, no, you actually making money. Cause I'm like, oh, I ain't been here that long. I ain't really,
but it's like
you're making a little bit of change.
Yeah, we just throwing it here and there.
Yeah, so once you, even just the act of tracking it will make you switch up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, I think what made the most difference for me using my tracker was not just the net profit column, but the actual profit column. Because from the profit column, you pretty much take your net total and subtract what you spent to even be able to work that night.
Right.
So that you know what you're actually leaving out with more than what you came in with. And I think knowing that actual number changed the way I was even spending money. Right. Because you may have, you made $600, but you also spent $2 to get here. You spent $50 on the Uber, 120 for tip out, da 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 da. So it's like you thinking you made 600, no, you really made like 3 something.
Yeah, that's important too for entrepreneurship because you may not. It's easy to spend the money. For me, it's new products or new things that are gonna make more money. I'm gonna spend on that off rip.
Yeah, an investment.
But then whenever you realize, like, I don't even know how to give an example, but you realize it's just like, oh, this isn't really what I made. You may be looking at the numbers like, damn, this month we did 15,000. You didn't do 15,000.
Yeah, yeah.
The entity may have done that. There were costs involved. There was people you had to pay. You didn't use. I got 5 needles out right now for a small tattoo. Like these are expenses that you're not calculating, but the feeling once you know about it, it's like, nah, I didn't make 6K when I went to ATL. I made 5 because I spent the rec. Like,
yeah, exactly, and
it's so important. That's why I was super intrigued when I saw it on your page because I was like, a lot of people don't know that I'm big on entrepreneurship, and that shit is super important. I think that's dope.
Thank you, and it has really made all the difference, and that's why like a lot of girls be, well, what's your book, or I'm gonna get your book, and I'm like, I want y'all to get it, but only if you really want it. Because also somebody was trying to tell me, oh, you need to make it in the app form or whatever the case may be. And I'm like, eventually I do plan to get it developed into an app. But the truth about it is if you're serious about your financial future and your financial health, you're going to take a second to write it down. You know what I'm saying? Everything isn't just a plug and play. I feel like it shows how intentional you are when you do take the time to sit down and write it down and do those calculations. If you don't want to do it, you don't really want it, because it's one thing to deposit your money in the bank, which was before I created the tracker. That's what I was doing. I would put my ones in the bank or whatever, but it still wasn't enough data for me as far as expenses versus profit. You know
right, because you may have spent some cash on the way to the bank. You may have to get a little $10 in gas, or everything's not gonna be on that. Your P&L isn't gonna be on a bank checking statement.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah. And I needed us to have a way to break that down more. So I was thinking, like, with my before I started dancing, when I had regular jobs, you had the time you clocked in, the date you worked, the amount of hours you worked, things of that nature. So I kind of designed it based off of those metrics that you would get at a regular 9-to-5 job.
So you put yourself on like a payroll, like a schedule, like that, like clocking in and clocking out.
Well, we typically for most clubs you can work whenever you want, but I feel like the clocking in and clocking out time metrics is important, because say you take your net profit and then you see what time you clocked in and you clocked out. However many hours you worked, you divide your net total by that amount of hours, and now you know what you made per hour. So it just kind of gives you more information on how you're utilizing your time and how you're profiting from your time in the club. And I feel like it also just helps you to move in a more business mindset in the club, for me. Anyways, instead of just looking like, where the niggas at, Mimi, where the money, like I look at the way I present myself to customers and the way I operate in the club as I'm the product, I'm the business, you know. Yeah. And yeah, I don't know, it's been working for me. The longer I get in this game, the more I'm making.
Me as an entrepreneur, I don't have any entrepreneurs in my family. My family is full of highly educated people, but they all pursue things that are structured things, you know, medical, education, military, whatever, to where, yes, you're so responsible, whatever, but it's because like they handed you, here's your time card.
They told you what to do, and you just have to do what they told you to do.
This is how much you made, this is the taxes we took out, but as an entrepreneur, it's like, you just get all the money, and now you gotta figure it out yourself, which can be rough. How far into this are we? We're gonna do.
It's 8:12.
So if they still watching, I'll give them some sauce. For me personally, because I do a lot of things, right? This is where watching the money or watching what's going on came in for me. So I do a whole bunch of things. I'll be, okay, man, we're gonna drop some new shit because I did a bunch of tests this week, or I just sold a bunch of stuff, so we're gonna do some new clothes over here. but the supplies is selling, so we doing clothes, but that's not really how you. So once you get into a cycle like that, it can get big. It's like I call it like a little money tornado, right? So you're doing this with the money, you spending more money, keep throwing money at it, does this, it does this.
It keeps making
as soon
more.
as it stops, it all falls.
Yeah.
So if one thing fucks up, you wasn't paying attention, you don't know that, hey, your clothes not doing too well, you need to stop buying new clothes. So now you look up and you're like, damn, why do I got 100 shirts? And now while you questioning why you got 100 extra shirts, your other stuff falling off because you're not putting the money into that because you're sitting over here questioning. So if you're not paying attention, and that's kind of like a thing that happened to me. I feel like I left so much money on the table because it's just not paying close enough attention to the numbers and separating everything.
Yeah, the foundation.
Writing it down. Like you say, like they want the app. No, write it down.
Yes. That's even in the Bible. Write it down and make it plain.
That's a big lesson for entrepreneurs that I think that they need to know. Like, write that shit down. Look at it. Pay attention because Coca-Cola got a whole department of people for that.
To write stuff down?
Like, don't think that you special. Just to pay attention and track and let the person in charge know, hey, this is what's going on. Hey, that idea is great, but last month we didn't make too much over in Diet Coke, so you might want to slow down on the redesigning of just stuff like that.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, the tiny details.
As the entrepreneur, we be so focused on the big picture that you may not even notice what's going on.
I feel like the most important thing as an entrepreneur is to just the foundation in which you build everything that you do on. And that writing it down though, even beyond being an entrepreneur, just being a functional human being, writing it down is everything.
Yeah, if you go to
if I don't plan my day out, I'm gonna watch anime all day. I literally have to write down, go to here, go to dun, like a checklist.
You wasn't supposed to be watching anime. That wasn't on the schedule. Just because you
didn't write it down, on the schedule because I squeeze it in every chance I get. If this was on an interview and you was just tattooing me to tattoo me, I would have anime playing right now.
You locked in on that.
I'm finna.
How often do you work out?
I don't work out.
You don't work out at all?
I just do the pole.
This is all from Flex again? This is all that's from
This is from the pole.
Okay.
6-pack and everything. That's the workout.
You didn't have a 6-pack and then you started getting serious about the pole workout. Now you got a 6-pack.
Yes. I didn't have a 6-pack till after I had the kid. When I'm doing the pole.
So all you men and women that be wanting a 6-pack, you heard it here first. Get your ass on the pole.
Here first. Climb
and
up
get to work.
To the ceiling.
You're still watching, almost 2 hours in. We are now on all audio platforms. Zoom in on me so I can put this on the thing. Dear listeners, Apple Music, Spotify, every other audio podcast platform, we are now there. Look up Client Conversations. We're working our best. Our team is small, but we're trying to get all 60-something of the episodes on there just for you to listen to. I know some of y'all can't get the visual. You at work, you know what I'm saying? Your boss tripping, y'all looking at your phone. It's cool. I got you on the audio, Apple Music, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts, Client Conversations. Check us out.